Alright, let's talk about Super Size Me, Morgan Spurlock's supposedly eye-opening documentary that, let's be real, kinda blew up back in the day. I also think it's bad, not just overrated, but outright flawed. If you haven't seen it yet, I got a link in the pinned comment. Watch it after this video. If you ever sat through a middle school or high school class, the chances are you've watched this documentary. And depending on your respective year, thought, wow, this is shocking, or of course you would gain weight eating McDonald's for a month, or why did we have to see you get finger blasted for a month to find this out? Either way, this film got reactions, and it made a huge impact on food culture. But Super Size Me wasn't the end of it. It actually inspired a whole wave of response documentaries that either try to debunk Spurlock or spin their own narratives. Today we're covering the Super Size Me spin-offs, starting with... So let's talk about Fathead. This is actually recommended by one of you guys, and after watching it, I'm kinda mixed. On one hand, it brings up some good points. For example, it claims that Spurlock didn't let the journalist see his food diaries during the Super Size Me experiment, which is definitely suspicious, and that's something I did not know prior to making that video. But beyond that, it starts to lose me. The film pushes the idea that the calorie deficit doesn't really lead to weight loss and it's really about insulin, and honestly, based off research I've done, that doesn't seem to be true. Sure, insulin plays a role, but it's not like the be-all end-all. Drugs like Ozempic, which help people lose weight, is done so by suppressing appetite, not because they're fixing insulin. So yeah, Fathead kind of fumbles on that science there. Another issue I have with Fathead is the way it tries to make points. A lot of the time it just feels like comedy sketches rather than the actual argument. I get that humor keeps things a bit engaging, but when you take things too literal to make a joke, it just ends up weakening your case. It's like, are you trying to make a valid point or just trying to be funny? No, I'm not saying this whole documentary is garbage. There are some points I do agree with. For example, it touches on the idea of someone being obese even though they look skinny. But at the same time, I can't give this documentary too much credit. When it's filled with as many logical holes as Super Size Me. It's worth noting that Fathead pushes the paleo diet pretty hard, which again is another area where I'm skeptical. Diets like paleo surely do work for some people, but endorsing it as an ultimate solution feels oversimplified. So yeah, Fathead, it's a mixed bag. It has some good points, like calling out Morgan Spurlock's lack of transparency, but it's also guilty of oversimplifying complex issues and throwing in some bad science along the way. Unlike the original, this isn't an eating challenge. Instead, Super Size Me 2 critiques the fast food industry from the inside, focusing mainly on the chicken industry. Spurlock isn't just eating chicken, he's actually raising it and braining it, and even selling it to unsuspecting customers. His goal? To show how deeply flawed and exploitive the system really is. The heart of the documentary is about the critiques of the chicken farming industry. Spurlock uncovers how big corporations control nearly every aspect of farming, forcing farmers into $1 million of debt with impossible demands. They are required to upgrade their equipment, adhere to strict contracts, and are paid little so they barely make profit. In the documentary, Morgan Spurlock starts a restaurant called Holy Chicken, which has over-exaggerated logos of what happens in the chicken industry and stuff like that, right? He puts it all on display to the daring customers who want to come in. Super Size Me 2 doesn't just critique the food, it takes aim at the entire system that thrives on exploitation. Here's the thing about Super Size Me 2. It's better than the first one because it goes way deeper. It's better than Super Size Me 1 mainly because it's not an eating challenge and it wasn't what Super Size Me 1 was, instead diving deep into a system that's highly corrupted. I did it. I covered both Super Size Me and the response. If you guys want me to cover something else, leave it in the comments. Leave in the comments what you thought about these movies. I actually seen a decent amount of people actually said Fathead was good. So tell me how wrong I am in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.